Hi everyone, this is Didan from Expert Bliss, and today I have Lady Kavan, our emotional resilience strategist, who will be with us at Freedom Plans workshop on Saturday, February 6th. I'm really excited about this workshop coming up, and especially because we're going to have Kavan there with us, sharing with us about strategies for thriving after devastation. Hi, Kav.
Hi dear, how are you?
I am glad that you are here with us. It is a time when everybody is processing their own version of trauma or loss or devastation that,
Grief. Yep.
yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Grieving some form of loss. Some
Yep.
of the losses intangibly, nobody else can see it but you. Like maybe you had
Mm-hmm.
planned to do a particular trip. Like I know people who had planned to travel back home to visit family and friends, and that had to
Yep.
be canceled. So that's not like a physical thing that you can say, oh, it's broken, or you can
Mm-hmm.
point to it. And then there are those that have tangible loss where they may have lost property or lost money or lost loved ones. Um, and everybody has gone through a different thing, whether it was a direct effect of the pandemic or just
Yeah.
life happening, and it is
Like.
happening in the middle of a pandemic. So
Mhm.
it's like it's a bad thing to happen, but it's happening on top of a pandemic, and so
Yeah.
a lot of people are struggling. And I guess a question that some people have, because some people feeling kind of hopeless, they're wondering, is it really possible to thrive and have hope after all of this drama?
Yes, ma'am. Living testimony and proof right here.
Yeah.
I think I want to address something you just said. I think one of the things that is very difficult for people to wrap our minds around is grieving not some intangible things. So
Mm-hmm.
grieving friendships lost,
Mm-hmm.
plans lost, dreams on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
It
Delayed and
it's a
derailed, right?
yeah, it's a different kind of grief. It's not one that you can have a funeral for or something
Mm-hmm.
that can mark the end.
Mm-hmm.
Not that grieving a loved one who's passed is
Final.
less painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but at least sometimes you can have a funeral, you can say words, you can
And
go
other
through a
people share
process
the
of,
pain.
yeah, and you have other people come with you, and you
Mm-hmm.
can mark, there's a ceremony that marks the end of the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have a kind of closure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you carry people carry pain, and they're
Mm-hmm.
carrying a weight
Mm-hmm.
that prevents them from meeting their goals and meeting or the things that we want to thrive towards, because we have like a weight. You can imagine
Mm-hmm.
trying to swim in a pool with 50 pounds of extra weight tied to your
Mm-hmm.
ankles. It makes it very, unless you're trained as a super Navy SEAL,
Yes.
then trying to swim with 50-pound weights on each ankle is not something that is easy to do.
Yeah.
Um, so when I think about loss and what we're going through as a collective, there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of grief that's hanging around in the
Mm-hmm.
room that
Mm-hmm.
we can't quite verbalize, that we
Yeah.
can't quite
Can't put into
put our
words.
finger on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But is with acknowledging that there, what we're dealing with, and I think part of why it's kind of this untouchable, unnameable loss is because of the uncertainty tied to it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you gave the example, when there is a date, this is a funeral date, or this is the date I have to move out of the house because I can't afford the mortgage, or this is the day they're going to come and take back the car, or, when there's a
Mm-hmm.
date to mark, or this is the final day at work because I have been laid off. With
Yeah.
the pandemic, there's no end date. Like we don't know when is
On.
this expiring. So that
Yeah.
uncertainty breathes hopelessness. It,
Yeah.
it 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 fills the air with this hopelessness that that's becoming the 50-pound weight. And with
Mm-hmm.
this hopelessness, do you really believe that there is a point to planning for your financial future, that there's a point to planning that, you know, I'm going to thrive, I'm going to accomplish what I want, I'm going to go somewhere? Is there a point to it, or should we just say, let's see what happens?
There has to be a point, because you, yes, there is uncertainty. We've never, I think we've never known what tomorrow brings. And the difference between now and then is that it's become real to us, that we really do not know
That's
about what
true.
tomorrow
That's
comes.
true.
Because we've always planned, we've made a plan for the year, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
That's
No,
so
it's the
true.
uncertainty is tangible. You
That,
really don't know what's going to
no,
happen.
no,
And
I think we need to pause. Just pause a moment. I don't know if, no, that needs to be repeated. We always never knew.
we always never knew.
That's solid. That's solid. Like I never even thought about, like, yeah, the uncertainty that we have now is not different from the one 10 years ago. Like,
It's
we didn't know
not.
what was gonna
What
happen.
has but what has changed is that this pandemic has stripped us of
All
the
sense of
perception,
security.
the illusion of control. That is one of the
Yes,
pieces I wrote,
that's true.
that we walk around with this illusion that we're somehow in control of everything. And what
Yeah,
we're really, the only thing that we have real control over is our response.
yeah,
We
that's so
cannot
true.
dictate world markets. We cannot dictate, horribly, we cannot dictate the drunk driver's response. We cannot dictate our loved one's response to us. We cannot dictate anything else but my response to
Yeah.
what is happening out there, which is a part of what I'm very passionate about with emotional resilience, is that I'm in control of my response.
Yeah.
And regardless of what has happened to me, whether or not I was initially responsible for it or it happened to me, because there are things that we do, none of us are
Yeah.
perfect, we make mistakes, or somebody did something to us.
Us.
We can't necessarily change those things, but what we can do is alter our response. And so I'm a firm believer that healing emotionally is a choice. I can choose to heal, or I can choose to sit with my pain and either bury it or pretend it doesn't exist. But when I pretend it doesn't exist, or when I bury it or ignore it, or whatever other coping mechanisms or walls we put up, we are actually strapping weights on our ankles, and it prevents us from soaring. It prevents us from going towards where we need to go.
So what you're saying is that the person who has the mindset that I'm just gonna ignore all of this that's happening around me, I'm gonna ignore my grief, I'm gonna ignore my dreams that are lost, and I'm just going to push past it. I'm not going to acknowledge that this hurts. I'm not gonna acknowledge that I feel broken or I'm disappointed. I'm just gonna tough it out and go ahead. That doesn't work. It's gonna,
Not at
how
all.
is that's gonna slow me down? But everybody, I mean, it's a trend, to say, you push past it, and I'm tough, I'm toughing it out. But you're saying it's dragging us down to do that. Why do we need to
Our
address this pain?
subconscious is as much alive as our conscious thought. And a
Okay.
lot of things that happen in our subconscious thought affects our presence and affects our behavior. There are a lot of behavior patterns that, a lot of things you don't realize until retrospect. A lot of behavior patterns and mechanisms and things that I thought were part of my personality, after going through process, I realized wasn't my
Oh my
personality. It
goodness.
was my defense and my walls that I had put up to protect
Wow.
me. So a lot of times people are interacting not with the real Didan or the real Lady
Ah,
Kavan. They're interacting with my wall.
wow.
And so it limits your opportunities and limits your ability to move beyond that. It limits your opportunities for love. It limits
Wow.
your opportunities to be the best version of you, and the best version of you is what's going to let you thrive. So if I'm not the best version of me, then it's always going to be a mediocre plodding through, tough it
Wow.
out, wall. It's always going to be mediocre until I allow myself to heal. and I can't heal what I can't see or what I don't acknowledge. It's like you have a broken leg, and you just decide you're going to walk on the leg. Yeah, man, it hurts a little. I'll take 2 Panadols and continue working. What you're doing is continuing the damage because you have not paid attention to put it in a cast and allow it to heal. Yeah.
Wow. I think this one, I will need to rewind and replay it and get a journal and sit down and process that, because
yeah,
it makes so much sense. I mean, just my personal reflection on my life. There are times, and it's so true, when people are interacting with the baggage, not with me. And but once I address the pain that is connected to that baggage, once I grieve the loss and acknowledge that, you know, this impacted me, and I deal with it, then it's like I get rid of that habit or get rid of that tendency or that mindset. And then it opens up opportunity for relationships that can thrive, and your brain start firing and ideas, and wow. That makes a lot of sense. And even more now, after having this conversation with you and anybody who is listening to this conversation, it is so obvious why they need these strategies, why they need to come to this mini workshop and sit with you and get all the strategies, and to just get into a safe space to acknowledge that whatever pain you are going through is real. And by acknowledging that pain and addressing it, you get rid of that 50-pound bag that is tied to you. So I'm blown away. I'm blown away. You give me stuff to think about, girl.
Yep, I'm so excited about this workshop, because I feel like there are so many of us walking around and we're not seeing the real people. We're interacting with walls and we're interacting with baggage, and in order to thrive and be happy, and using a cliche, get a new lease on life, you know, just to thrive, to be better, you need to address those things before you can do anything else. A plan is good, you know. We need a plan on how to manage our finances, how to make more revenue, and all of those. We need it. Like, it's important. But when you wake up every day and there is you open your eyes and you think, oh, another day.
Yeah. I can definitely see how that slows you down, because you don't wake up with ideas, you don't wake up with energy. Oh my goodness, we are actually almost like running into the workshop, right? So I'm gonna just pull this up and say you need to be here on February 6th to dig into these strategies for thriving after devastation. You can't be free, you can't make plans, you can't thrive if you are being dragged down by the 50-pound weight of pain and despair and disappointment and grief. So, Lady Cavan, please tell the people where to go. It's what? bit.ly/FPW 2021. That's bit.ly/FPW, that's Freedom Plans Workshop 2021. You need to be there. And it's free. It's totally free. Bring a friend. Yes. Bring a friend. Come and get your 50-pound bag off.
Yeah. I'm excited to see you. Come, let's talk. Let's deal with this. Yeah.
Thanks, Lady Cavan. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.